Hello, welcome back to Leith Central. As is obvious from the room, in a new location. Yes, Leith Central has moved house. So now not based in the centre of Edinburgh in a poky little flat, it now has its own railway room in a nice big room in Pennycook. So this will become the railway room. As I say, we're still unpacking at the moment, but I thought I'd give you a quick update. So the railway will eventually run from where you see this board placed here. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to make it so it attaches to the top of the units, because the boards have got a hollow space underneath for point motors and wiring and everything. I can make them so they temporarily bolt to there, and I'm going to come up with a bolting system where they fit to legs. So that board will go flush against that back corner there, coming 6 feet forward there to a 3 foot wide board on this side of the room. And the only change that's being made to the model overall is in this corner here. There will be an extended area with the return loop and fiddle yard on it. I'm thinking of making that hinged so I can make it come out into the room here and have more storage sidings, but once I've got the main boards finished, that'll be the next project. We'll be adding that on. So that's a long way off in the future. As you can see, I've not even got my new workbenches built. They're on order, arriving later on today, so that'll be later on in the video as well, workbenches set up. As you see, some of the helicopters are out there. Some of them took a bit of a knock during the move, which are requiring maintenance, so that'll feature on. Leith Central as well, like what's on the workbench this week, will return very shortly. Also to come on this video is the latest arrival, which arrived just before we moved house, so we'll take a lot of that now. It's another Class 37, and it's one I've been after for a while. Okay, so here is the latest arrival for Leith Central. This is Bachmann 32381V, or was it Y? I'll just double check on the end of the box. 32381V. The Class 37/4 37427 in Regional Railways with the ScotRail logo. This one is an example of the Rails Limited Edition that's also been weathered by the Model Centre. Picked this up second hand on eBay at a really good price. I mean, the price I saw for this one was cheaper than I'd seen for just the standard Rails release models, so I got quite a bargain there. So I'm looking forward to seeing I have had a sneaky look in the box already, because I say I got this before we moved, but we'll take a look at the weathering job and also this limited edition thing there, and just remove that piece of hair there. So we'll get this box open and we'll have a look at what we've got inside. Okay, so that's the logo out of the outer box. As you can see, it's the standard older Bachmann box with the polystyrene insert there with the space for the detailing parts in the end. It's got the full detailing set as usual with Bachmann 37s that you get at this older type. But also, I think a nice touch in with this one is not only do you get the standard box front sleeve for the 37/4s, which I had missing from one of my other 37 releases, so I might put that into that box actually, because with this model as well, you get this specific one from Rails of Sheffield. It's actually the certificate for the model. So they're number 243 of 512, this limited edition. So that's in with the box as well. That's a nice touch from Rails and Bachmann there. I quite like that. So I might even add that to, I've got a cork board there to do a similar idea to what New Junction are doing with their the New Junction wall. So I'm going to put sort of like little trinkets and stuff like that on it, like tickets from going to open days and things like that. So that might go on there. It might stay with the box. But let's now get this Limited Edition 37 out of the polystyrene. It's the standard push holes on the back. So push forward there, crepe lining as usual, like a little bit of paper around it. Just move that to the side there. So that's the model that's come. The actual standard release is for a pristine model, but this has been weathered, as I said, by the Model Centre. So first of all, look at the model overall. I have spoke about Bachmann 37s of this era on the channel before, so, and as have other people on their channels. So it's just the standard Bachmann older 37-foot/4 tooling with the 37-4 grill layout, and you see the NRN radio aerials sprung buffers as standard from Bachmann, and tension lock couplings there, the usual detailing parts for sort of the front and everything like that. I have looked at photos of this, and it has ran on my area both with ploughs and without ploughs, and as I have other 37s fitted with ploughs, this one will be remaining without ploughs, so this one will remain its tension lock coupling at both ends, so it'll be working sort of in and out, like stopping passenger services from Leeds Central. Nice little touch on the extra details on this thing, like the printed detail, is you'll notice the correctly have checked for this model, the overhead line warning flashes are actually fitted in this interesting place here, and also it does have the shed number plate in there in the middle window. That is also prototypical for its time working down in Wales, and that remained there when it was back up in Scotland working 5 circles stuff out of Edinburgh, which I have photos of it on. Name's Highland Enterprise. There's no etched nameplates in this, but I will be getting, there's no etched nameplates in with the model, but I'm guessing that might be due to it being second hand, I'm not sure, but I will get some etched plates from maybe Fox Transfers or somewhere like that to fit to the model. Moving on from just it being the standard Bachmann release working directional lights, of course, I'll move on to the weathering job that has been done by the Model Centre, and I've seen their weathering jobs done before, and their diesel weathering jobs are especially good, and on Southern Railway locomotives are also really good. But what I find with some of their weathering jobs on other regions, steam locals, is the weathering can be slightly too brown. One thing we were discussing down at the Model Club is that it was down to sort of like its brake dust on the Southern Loco wheels. It looks prototypical on Southern Locals, but not necessarily on other regions. Not a knock on the Model Centre's level of weathering and the way they apply it. It's just a prototypical thing that we've noticed overall as a group. But moving into the detailing on this model, I'll start here on the underframe. Moving so like there's, take the glare off of that there. As you can see, the standard sleeper grime across the bottom with some streaking on the fuel tanks there. That's a nice touch. And as you can see, the weathering isn't just one solid layer across the bottom of the underframe. It varies and stuff, as with the real class. You see there on that fuel tank, there is a patch in it there. And what you find is around the fuel tanks, there's not as much sleeper grime because it can't cling to where there's the fuel overspill. So that's a nice touch there. I quite like that. Moving up and then round the front for lower down, the buffers are weathered with the usual rubbing area in the middle as well. And another good touch that I like with the aftermarket weathering as a comparison to from the factory weathering is the tension lock couplings are weathered as well, so they don't stand out as much when you're running them on a weathered model. As you can see, the track grind coming slightly up onto the front there as well. Moving back down the side, another touch for this model and something specific for this model would be the position of that data panel there. That is also correct for this model. All the printed detail is fantastic, and all the additional embellishments and warning flash differences on this model have been represented correctly, checking against photographs, which is a brilliant job on Rails' part there to make sure the research for Bachmann and Rails actually on making sure that the research for this model got all the details in the correct place. As you can see that the lining in the model is also crisp, them 3 lines there, and then the lighter blue and the darker blue. This is one of my favourite liveries, the third loco now I have in this livery. Moving down, you can see the areas where they would usually gather grime, like around the grills and in those little sockets there, have been weathered nicely. And looking at photos, that is very prototypical for 37s of the late 80s, early 90s period, and which is where they're modelling and where this model would suit. So the body side weathering, although light, because this would be a more passenger loco, so it may have passed through carriage washers and stuff, the weathering is light but in the right place. The weathering is there, light and in the right places, which shows good research on the model centre's part, and I'm really happy with that body side weathering. Moving up onto a area that always sees focus for weathering, the roof. As you can see, the usual areas have been treated with the exhaust grime there, and also coming back along there. I like the nice touch of how it's not round all of those plates on the roof, just somewhere the exhaust might have caught where it's been running at speed, so that first one doesn't have as much grime on it as the wind pushes the exhaust back down onto the others. That's a really nice touch there, showing that running in that direction, that's where it would fall. And looking at photographs, that's very correct for this type of, for the 37s. Also across the roof is the usual like roof dirt with, but they've done it in such a way that it appears to show rain streaking, where the it looks like it's been washed by the rain and by carriage washers, and it's a really nice effect along the roof. So I'm very happy with the weathering job there. The only thing I'd say as a drawback to this is there isn't much weathering on the cab bonnets. A little bit more roof dirt on there might have suited me better, because as I say, these can be a really grimy area with the 37, especially coming over onto the yellow. It seems this is one area that's been missed, but it's not a big deal, and that's something that can be filled in by us down at the Model Club, just to put a little bit of weathering onto there, just a light touch to match the rest of the model, masking off so not to affect the wonderful weathering job done on the rest of it by the model centre. So overall, this model, it's, as I say, I got it at a price that surprised me, especially with the level of 37 cost now being new from Bachmann, the RRP being up around £170 for some of them. Getting this model at 150, which is a limited edition, and also with a custom weathering job on it that you'd pay usually around £30 for. I'm really happy with the price I paid for this and the model I got for the price. I know a lot of people look for the usual bargains and bargain 37s and things like that from the older ranges. They are there if you go out to look for them, but my focus is usually on like rare pieces like this, and I do like the 37s. I'm gathering quite a collection now of limited edition 37s and 47s, and that will be my focus going forward loco wise. I am looking to commission a couple of custom sprays, including the Class 08 there to match the model. The Regional Railways 08, as I say, I like this livery, so I'm going to add that. And another one on the hit list is the latest release in Regional Railways livery. It was a Welsh one, but they tended to bounce between Wales and Scotland, especially considering I'll have diagrams working into the station that will be based for crew-based engines. So that will be added to the fleet within time, and that is when we will get to the, as promised from earlier videos, review of the new Bachmann 37.4 versus the old Bachmann 37.4. So we'll see what is there. We'll grade them on things like price and detailing and fitting to the prototype, finishing, that sort of thing, to see how just to show how even within like the past decade, even Bachmann have moved on leaps and bounds with the models they're producing. So that'll follow up on the channel. So I hope this quick update has showed you where we are, and we'll get to having a workbench up and running in the next video, and then we can start doing some more work on Leeds Central in its new home. So that's goodbye from me at the new Leeds Central Station and Works up in Pennycook. So enjoy your modelling, enjoy whatever you're getting out and doing. As you can probably guess, with the move, there's a bit of a backlog of videos to get up and edited, so there should be quite a lot going up in the next few weeks. Sorry for the delay, but as I say, moving house and needs musts, so we'll get back to a more regular delivery of videos over the coming weeks. Thanks for bearing with us, and I hope you enjoy the upcoming videos, and also everything from the Great Britain and our trip to Dresden Steam Fair, which is also on the channel. So if you follow the link to ANWP Rail in the little round box below the screen, that'll take you to those videos. Remember to like, share and subscribe, never miss an update. And also, as I mentioned earlier, like going into doing the corkboard thing, there's been some really, and a quick plug here, there's been some really interesting videos recently from New Junction, Everard Junction and Dean Park Station. These are all channels that I'm really into and stuff. I know the questions asked of a lot of people, what channels do you watch? And I saw it recently on the Facebook group that had been watched. So they're the three main channels I'd thoroughly recommend. There are others out there that don't watch as regular but still watch, but they are the principal three as far as modelling goes. So go check them out. I'll put some links in the description. Enjoy your modelling, and I'll see you next time.